2023 is just over halfway done and so much has been announced this year already that it's pretty difficult to keep on top of it all. So I wanted to help you guys out with 22 titles that have been announced recently. This list will only cover RPGs that were announced this year, so nothing from 2022 or before, and will not include ports of existing titles like East 9 or the Caligula Effect. But any new IP, title coming west for the first time, sequel or remaster is a-okay. With that, let's get started with turn-based RPG Rhapsody Mile Kingdom Chronicles coming to Switch, PS5 and PC on August the 29th for North America and the 1st of September for EU. Those who played Rhapsody A Musical Adventure will most likely feel a certain kinship with Mile Kingdom Chronicles, which is a bundle of the two sequels Ballad of the Little Princess and Memories of Mile Kingdom that never came west. With a goofy sense of humour and plenty of musical numbers sprinkled throughout, this will likely work as a great palate cleanser for those looking to find a more relaxing experience. Up next is Sugono Inc.'s Opus Prison Peak, coming to PC with no release date announced as of yet. While not an RPG in the strictest sense, straying more onto the narrative adventure side with multiple endings, I refuse to exclude this game after the amazing time I had with Opus Echo of Starsong last year. Described as a cross between of What Remains of Edith Finch and Makoto Shinkai films like Your Name, this game will see you take up a camera to escape an ethereal realm. If it's anything like Starsong, expect a gripping story, stellar OST, and captivating visuals. We move to action RPG Fate Samurai Remnant from Koei Tecmo, coming to PS4, PS5, Switch and PC on September the 29th worldwide. And yes, I am cheating a little as the announcement came on New Year's Eve of 2022, but when it was announced it was already the 1st of January in the UK, so I'm gonna let it slide. If the name of the game hasn't clued you in yet, Samurai Remnant is an extension of the already burgeoning Fate universe where the Holy Grail War once more rages. Set during Edo period Japan, players take control of Miyamoto Iori and his partner Saber as they seek to become the victors of the Waxing Moon Ritual. If you're familiar with Fate, then you'll have an idea of what this entails: 7 masters and 7 servants of legend doing battle in one epic melee. Next up is action RPG Cry Machina, coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch and PC on October the 24th in North America and the 27th in EU. Set in a post-apocalyptic world and created as a somewhat spiritual successor to Crystar, Cry Machina sees a group of mechanical girls seek the meaning of humanity in a fast-paced action-based adventure. Trailers alone make me think this is going to be a sleeper hit, and I actually did get a chance to try out an early build of the game a month back. Though I didn't get to see much in that particular event, the gameplay at the very least felt very smooth, with satisfying transitions between combos. I've been looking forward to this one since it was announced. It's a day one purchase for me. Moving to another action RPG, it's Phantom Blade Zero, coming to PC and PlayStation 5 with no release date currently given. Featuring a semi-open world, Phantom Blade Zero draws on a style that will feel familiar to any fan of Souls games or Nioh. The game draws inspiration from martial artist stars like Donnie Yen and Bruce Lee, while also adding its own flair to set itself apart, something that the developers coin as Kung Fu Punk, and have even brought in Kenji Tanigaki as action director, who worked on the likes of Time and Tide and Fatal Contact. It certainly looks impressive in the trailer, like a rebirth of Metal Gear Revengeance, which is not a bad thing at all. Up next is the Barton Kaitos 1 and 2 remaster, coming to Switch on September the 14th. Originally releasing about 20 years ago on the GameCube, these games utilise a card-based approach where you assemble a deck of so-called Magnus to be used during battle. Calling on both turn-based and action-based elements, Barton Kaitos offers one of the more unique battle systems, while also extending this novelty to its overworld gameplay too, since players simply guide the protagonist rather than play as them. I'm always on board for something a bit more out of the box, and Barton Kaitos fills that bracket. We move to a mystery turn-based RPG next in Deca Police for PS4, 5 and Switch, releasing worldwide in 2023. It occurs in the city of Broadstone, where detectives use a virtual space called Decaism to train their skills. However, it also acts as a 100% replication of the real world at a given point in time, meaning detectives can use it to find clues to solve long-forgotten cases. It really looks like a fresh and novel concept, plus there's the pedigree of level 5 to reassure us, so I've got high hopes for it. Next up is action RPG Neptunia Game Maker R Evolution, coming to PS4, PS5 and Switch in 2024. With cute visuals, quirky characters and a whole lot of pudding, the goal of this game is to rebuild and manage a game company and gives you the chance to turn it into a big corporation. I mean, it's Neptunia, so it's not exactly going to take itself too seriously, which is what fans do enjoy, and it has motorbikes, which is a plus too, though I think for myself it will be very far down on my to-buy list. I've just accepted now that anything from Idea Factory or Compile Heart for the most part won't do much for me, and I'm not really in the mood to potentially waste more money. Moving on, we have turn-based title Persona 5 The Phantom X for iOS and Android. Unfortunately, there is no release date for now, and it is currently only coming to China. Designed as a spin-off to Persona 5 and set in the same universe, it follows an original story surrounding a new band of phantom thieves. The style and basic gameplay of the original game are preserved, while the graphics have been brushed up and the user experience and presentation optimized for smartphone users. And though it is being worked on by Blackwing Games, Atlus will be deeply involved with the project. I'd like to think it will come west when a more concrete release date is in mind, but I wouldn't sleep on this. I'm not big on mobile games myself, but I was quite impressed with what I saw, so I'll be keeping an eye on its development. To the universe of Rune Factory now, with action RPG farming sim hybrid Rune Factory 6. At present though, no platforms have been announced, nor is there a release date, and this will apply to the next 3 entries as well, which all came from a Marvelous Game showcase. The truth is, we know very little outside of the brief highlight given to the game back in May. All that's really been confirmed is that it will take place on the western continent of Adonia, but if it's Rune Factory, you've got an idea of what to expect at the very least. And since we're talking about Rune Factory, our next entry is the sister title, also announced during this same event, in action RPG Rune Factory Project Dragon. Once again, this one has no finalised platforms, nor does it have a release date, though it did get a trailer as a one-up to Rune Factory 6. Designed as a spin-off and building upon the theme of East and West, Project Dragon, as you may deduce, is set in the East, a land often referenced but not shown in the series. It'll be interesting to see if they change up the core design of the franchise in this one. The combat in particular seems to be a key focus. Yet another from the Marvelous Showcase, In Project Life is RPG now. No release date was given, the platforms weren't confirmed, and we don't even know what the gameplay will entail. It apparently is going to harken back to the influential RPGs of the past and is focused around the theme of life. Director Itetsu Suzuki stated that the team has the goal of building an original title that all RPG fans will love, and the team is working to capture that, quote, feeling of anticipation just before every great adventure. The last of the Marvelous Showcase is for Project Magia. Same as before, no platforms confirmed, nor do we have a release date. We don't even know what the gameplay will be, but based on the character renders we at least know who the leading artist is. It's Hiro Mashima, creator of Eden Zero and Fairy Tail, the latter of which being one of my favourite long-running shonen. Aesthetic alone doesn't define a game's quality, but that's a good start. Talking about well-known mangaka, our next title is action RPG Sandland for PS4, 5, Xbox Series, Xbox One and PC. No release date was given. Sandland is a popular manga created in 2000 by the ever-recognisable Akira Toriyama. Now what's interesting about this one is that not only is it your standard action-based title, but it also utilises tank-based gameplay too, a la Metal Max. This becomes the main method of traversing the desert, and players will have access to a wide variety of vehicles and customizations. It's certainly got a style all its own, and it will be interesting to see how the vehicles in particular are utilised. I'm actually looking forward to this one. Moving to Atlus now, with turn-based RPG Metaphor ReFantasio coming to Xbox Series, PS4, PS5 and PC in 2024. This is the working title for Project ReFantasy that was teased a few years back. The trailer alone looks amazing, and Studio Zero are aiming to make this title the beginning of a brand new pillar for Atlus alongside SMT and Persona. ReFantasio has been described as an epic high fantasy RPG that will encompass a more traditional setting but will aim to set itself apart from contemporaries too. Director Katsuda Hashino stated that his idea of fantasy is derived from an idea that it does more than immerse us in empty worlds of fiction. They exist because there's something about our world we want to change, and they help us reimagine something new. This principle has become the basis of the entirety of the game, from its story to its gameplay, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they visualise that. Another from Atlus was tactical RPG Persona 5 Tactica, coming to Xbox Series, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, Switch and PC, and releasing on November the 17th this year. Not much to say here, it's an extension of the P5 universe much like the Phantom X and takes place in a world reminiscent of medieval Europe. If you've played Persona 5 Strikers, it will probably give you an idea of what this story might entail as well. I'm always on board for more Persona 5, but it'll be a fair distance down my personal list due to the sheer amount of brilliant games coming out around that time, or at least I'm hoping they'll be brilliant, though I imagine it will garner a following of its own. And of course there is the remake of Persona 3 in Persona 3 Reload, coming to Xbox Series, Xbox One, PS4, PS5 and PC, releasing in early 2024. For someone who has never played any version of Persona 3, this was a very welcome announcement. There was plenty of rumours surrounding this before it was even announced, and it was effectively leaked before the day, so we weren't really taken aback, but realising that it is now set in stone is great to see. This will be right on the top of my backlog for the new year, and I dare say it will be for many others too. Next up is another heavy hitter in turn-based RPG Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, the 8th mainline entry in the series coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series and PC. Its releases in early 2024. Like a Dragon is certainly on the radar of turn-based lovers now that the main series has shifted its gameplay approach after the success of Like a Dragon. The game features a dual protagonist feature with both Kiryu and Ichiban, and though we don't know much about its story outside of it being a direct sequel to Like a Dragon, the teaser trailer pretty much tells you everything you need to know in terms of the game's overall tone. Moving on to action RPG Star Ocean's Second Story R, coming to PS4, PS5, Switch and PC, and it releases in November the 2nd this year. I had Second Story on my personal retro list, but with this announcement I think I can take it off. Second Story R features redrawn character art, an updated 2.5D visual style, new voice recording with the option to switch between this version and the PSP's offerings, and a rearranged soundtrack courtesy of Motoi Sakuraba with some new tracks added for good measure. I was in awe when I saw this. I immediately nabbed myself that limited edition, not really caring about its price, and I'm absolutely hyped to get my first chance to try what is considered the best game in the Star Ocean franchise. Up next is isometric action RPG Silent Hope, coming to Switch and PC for an October the 3rd worldwide release. It features 7 heroes with unique skill sets, a highlighted storybook aesthetic, and apparently it is linked to the Rune Factory series. In fact, it is a spin-off set in the same world. And players familiar with Rune Factory will spot some similarities like woolies and crafting mechanics. Marvelous seems to be putting a fair amount of time into this one too, if their recent release of the opening movie is anything to go by. Our penultimate title is for Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince, coming to Switch for December the 1st this year. After a tease of the game in late May, it was finally revealed in late June, and being a spin-off of the main Dragon Quest series that focuses more on the taming and raising of monsters, this is a title that sees the protagonist take a backseat in terms of battle. This title has over 500 monsters on its roster, ranging from franchise favourites to brand new designs. Our last entry is for the turn-based remake of Super Mario RPG, coming to Switch on November the 17th. Sporting new visuals but a charm still held from the original back on the SNES back in 1996, this was a very welcome announcement. I have not played Super Mario RPG since I was 5 years old. I have such fond memories of it, and the chance to play it with a new coat of paint on a modern platform is the tonic I needed this year. Even if they change up the gameplay somewhat, I imagine it will still be simple, eye-catching and vibrant throughout, and as a result become an excellent starter RPG for any beginner of the genre. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe for more JRPG content, and consider joining my Patreon if you're interested. Peace.